Hey Hillside, how you doing today? So just to give you a heads up, this is going to be the first of what I think is going to be a little 3-video series. So make sure that you come back and watch the next ones. But early last week, I kind of just every day had this constant feeling of like weird right now. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that. Even doing the routine daily things, I just couldn't shake that kind of weirdness or sometimes even eeriness of life and what's going on. And probably like the weirdest thing right now and what contributed to that is the fact that we have had to close the preschool down. And so it's really weird being at the church during the day and going into the office and not having it filled with the smells of babies and the sounds of crying, or going to the bathroom and not having to wait on a class full of 3-year-olds, or walking into the sanctuary and not being surrounded by 5-year-olds and bombarded with questions. So it's when the preschool's in full swing, I have these moments in the day where I think, man, I just need a few minutes of peace and quiet. But without it there, I find that I'm having these moments where I'm thinking, man, I need a little crazy. And so thinking about that and kind of what was missing from my daily routine without the kids being there, I was reminded of the passages in the Gospels where Jesus talks about becoming like a child. And in Matthew 18:3, it's phrased as, he says, "Unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And in Luke 18:16 and 17, he says of children, "To such belongs the kingdom of God. And whoever does not receive the kingdom of God like a child shall not enter it." And the most common teaching that I hear on these passages is typically the idea of being trusting, that and like that faith portion, that kids will believe just about anything you tell them, and it's pretty fun to push it sometimes, right? And you might say that's called being gullible, but with Jesus, luckily, we can't be gullible because unlike us flawed adult humans, he doesn't try to trick us for laughs. But we can just trust him and believe him the way that kids trust the authority figures in their lives. And another one I've heard, I believe it was during the Jesus is King series, that Louis mentioned this passage and tied it with the concept of being teachable, which kind of goes with being trusting, right? Kids are being molded by what the authorities in their lives are telling them and modeling for them. However, when I was thinking about the preschool kids and my interactions and observations, the kids at Little Lights, those were not the things that came to mind. So I'm going to look at kind of the different age groups in each of these videos and something that stands out to me. So the first one, when I think about the babies, the word that came to my mind was dependence. The babies, they have to be fed, changed, moved from one place to another, like just about everything but sleep and cry and poop is done for them, right? And done in some part for them. And now that may seem like an extreme illustration with us before God, but is it really? The more that I allow myself to be dependent on the things of the kingdom of God, the more my life can be Christ's and not my own. The more he can do and work and be through me. The first verse that comes to mind when I think about that concept is John 3:30. "He must increase, but I must decrease." Some other verses that kind of show our dependency on God are John 15:5. Jesus says, "I'm the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he is it that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing." That is total dependency right there, guys. Another one, 1 Chronicles 29:14, David says, "But who am I, and what is my people, that we should be able thus to offer willingly? For all things come from you, and of your own have we given you." Psalm 73:26 says, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." And one last psalm here, Psalm 121, 1 and 2 says, "I lift up my eyes to the hills, for where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth." So I just want to encourage you to stop striving to do things on your own, because ultimately you can't, right? Even our righteous works are filthy rags, it says. So apart from Jesus, apart from him, we can do nothing. He's our righteousness. We're totally dependent on him for salvation, for the ability to walk in the Spirit and live godly lives. So just go before him in that way, like a baby, like a child, totally dependent on him. And I think that you'll find great fulfillment in that. Have a great day, guys.